was really nervous about like coming and speaking to you guys tonight, and then Augie gave my talk earlier, so.
Didn't know that.
Sorry. Anyway, no, it is, but we are going to be talking about dating tonight, and I know some of you guys heard that we were talking about dating. That's pretty much why you're here, because you want to hear what we have to say about dating. Sure, it's going to be something, I'm sure we're going to embarrass people and whatnot, but I want you guys to, I want to get some feedback from you guys first of all. So, first thing, building on this whole, like, what is dating, what is Christian dating, can you tell me, give me their definition of love. What's your definition of love? Kennedy, what's your definition of love?
It's a choice in which you choose to put another person above yourself.
All right, nice. Who else? We have one person who thinks they know love. This is awesome. Anyone else? Okay, what's love? Yeah.
When you understand the person so completely and you would be willing to do anything for that person.
Okay, all right. Who else? Oh, sacrifice, okay. All right. One more. Who else has an idea? What do you think love is?
Dating day out there for you and living life.
Okay. All right. So again, obviously we had a couple different responses. They were really great responses, and one of the reasons why I think, if you notice, one of the most sung about things in music today is love, is because there's so many different ideas for this. There's so many different ideas of what love is, what love means to different people. And if you've noticed, like in a lot of these secular songs, they talk about what love is, but they talk about it in a very superficial way. I'm sure you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Like, recently talking about loving the way you lie, being a little drunk and mean you now. What else we got? The DJ's got me falling in love again. All those are really superficial, like momentary, ideas of love. But God's calling us much more than that. And so that's what we're going to talk about, is what it means to be Christian dating. Okay? So the things that Christian dating has that secular dating just doesn't really do so well is there's really two things. There's chastity and modesty. So first of all, we're going to talk about chastity. The first thing, there's a misconception about that. Chastity is not the same thing as abstinence. Okay? Abstinence means saying no to something. In this case, we're talking about sex. So saying no to sex, that's what abstinence is. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great habit to learn. It basically means that you're giving up something now because in the future it'll be better because of it. So, it's a great habit. There's nothing wrong with that. The difference between that and chastity is actually a virtue. Chastity is a lifestyle. It's a way of changing who you are. That kind of leads me up to the second misconception, is that the church, Catholic Church, Christianity in general, thinks that sex is bad. That's not true. Not at all, because we know that God created sexual desire, and everything that God created is good, right? But the thing is that if you think about it, sexual desire is like a fire. It's a fire in a fireplace, right? Inside the fireplace, it's warm, provides light, there's a lot of use for it, it's a good thing. But what happens when you take that fire out of the fireplace and put it somewhere where it's not intended, like in the middle of the woods? It just starts burning up the place, consuming everything it can until it can't consume anymore. That's what our sexual desire is like. If it's kept where it needs to be, if it's kept in that fireplace, marriage, then it's going to be a boon to who you are. It's going to be a great, you're just going to enjoy it that much more. You're going to be able to be happier because of that. And if you let outside of that, it's going to consume and destroy. That's what our sexual desire is. It's incredibly powerful in that it is awesomely life-giving, and it can be incredibly destructive as well. So, making that lifestyle choice of chastity. Pope John Paul II, because if you're going to talk about chastity, you talk about Pope John Paul II. He said, only the chaste man and the chaste woman are capable of true love. Pretty powerful words. If you're thinking maybe, it's not, chastity sounds great and all, but it's not really for me. I've got more stuff going on in my life than that. That's off in the future. I'm not thinking about my future like that. I'm not thinking about marriage. Let me ask you something. show of hands, how many people have gone or are going to school? Ever have gone to school? All right. Thank you. You were like, I don't remember. Okay, so how many people here have or do work out? Okay, so pretty much everyone to school, with COVID, and a lot of people work out. Okay, but why? Why do you do that? I mean, wouldn't it be easier just not to? Wouldn't it be easier just not to go to school, to hang out at the house? Wouldn't it be easier not to work out, to just, lay around and eat and stuff at school? The reason why we go to school, obviously, is to learn stuff to get into a good college, we go to a good college to get a good job. We get a good job so we can take care of our families eventually, we can take care of ourselves, we can get what we want. We work out to be able to excel in our sports, to be able to be healthy, to be able to live longer. So these are all thinking of the future. It's working hard now to get something out of the future later on. And chastity is the exact same way. Chastity is working hard now so that later on in the future, your marriage is going to help you. Your marriage is going to be strengthened by that. Your relationships are going to be strengthened by that. It's working hard now. It's not, you're not just putting that off and just being like, it's not for me. I'm just going to be lazy about it. So that's what chastity is. The other part of that I mentioned was modesty. Okay, so modesty, basically we know that we are all created in the image and likeness of God, right? And so there's only one way to look at each other, and that's with love. We can help each other look at one another with love by using modesty. There's three real parts of modesty. There's what we look at, what we wear, and what we say. Okay, first of all, what we look at. The first thing that kind of pops into most people's head when you talk about modesty, what we look at is pornography. You got to be careful about that pornography. You got to be careful about what you're looking at, what it's going to get into your head and stay there. There's ways to avoid that. There's ways to some of the most obvious things are things like pornography is so prevalent online, obviously. Moving your computer out into the family room, that kind of stuff. Or there's a great site online called X3 Watch. Any of you guys, any of you girls, if you guys struggle with that particular temptation, check this out. X3 Watch. Look it up online. It's a program you can run on your computer, and it just kind of keeps track of what you're looking at. And if there's any questionable sites, you have a list of people that are your accountability partners, people you trust, and that person gets an email every 2-3 weeks just saying, hey, they're doing really good, they haven't, or they struggle, and these are the sites they're looking at. And so you kind of get accounts held accountable by the other people that call you and be like, hey, I saw that you're kind of struggling with some stuff, what do you want to talk about? It's a pretty powerful thing. I'm personally holding 3 teams accountable right now, and they're doing a great job with it. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so outside of pornography, what we look at is also how we look at one another. I know that you see an attractive person walk by, and it's hard to stay focused on that. But I know a lot of our guys know neck up, right? Neck up. So looking, not looking at them like out of lust, but looking at a creature of God. I know that it is real hard to look at someone and be completely modest in what you're thinking, but it's something we need to try to do. It's something that when you see somebody walking by, you wouldn't want them hearing half the thoughts that are going through your head at that time. So just being able to stay modest in how you're looking at people, appreciating them for their beauty, but not just looking at them as an object. Second thing, what you wear. Prayerful discernment should be part of your wardrobe choice. When you go shopping, you should be like, okay, all right, hold on. Is this going to be too low, too tight, too short, too whatever? It's just being respectful of the people around you that are trying to live chastity, trying to live modesty. Third thing is what you say. I'm talking about lustful flirting, sexual jokes, stuff like that. Those things can make it harder for somebody to live modestly, to live chastity. But also, just in general, abstaining from cursing. I know this is really tough for everybody. It's tough for me. But St. John Vianney said something that really hit me. He said, the man who language's mouth is a supply pipe that hell uses to vomit its impurities upon the earth. That's pretty intense. Okay, read it again? All right. The man who uses obscene language's mouth is a supply pipe that hell uses to vomit its impurities upon the earth. Yeah, I know, right? Good job, guys. Good job. No, but like that's intense. But you know, I mean, there's so much damage that can come out of just what you're saying. Not even thinking about just using foul language. You lead other people to also use foul language. You lead other people to other sins that go against their purity. All right. So, girls, I still want you to listen up and everything, but guys, okay, I'm talking to the guys now. All right, guys, listen up. We are men. Yes. I know, right? We are men. We do manly things. We protect, we defend, right? We are created as stewards of God's beautiful creation. And really, what's more beautiful than women? All right? When God created Adam and Eve, He did not take Eve out of Adam's feet, He trampled by him. He did not take her out of his head to top him, but took him out of his side to be equal to him. Took him out under his arm to be protected by him, and took him out of next to his heart to be loved by him. That's what we're called to be. We're called to do all those things. But even at the beginning, even Adam and Eve, Adam failed. Adam failed with his job of protecting Eve. Everybody knows the story of Adam and Eve, right? Talkative snake comes along, babbles a little bit, Eve takes it out a little bit, she does her thing, she gives it to Adam, Adam does his thing, and then they both get kicked out of the garden, right? So, I hear a lot of people be like, dude, Eve, what was up with her? She just totally, ruined it for Adam. That sucks. But, no, you want to think about it, where was Adam? Where was Adam when he was being tempted? I mean, remember, this was the Garden of Eden. He wasn't on a flight to San Francisco or something like that. No, he was right there. Actually, Scripture says that Eve then turned to her husband who was with her and gave him the apple. So he was standing there with her the whole time. He was right there and he did nothing to protect him. And you might think, well, why? Was this little talking snake such a big deal that Adam that sounds awesome. God did not create man, did not create Adam as an idiot. He doesn't, his first creation, his pinnacle, this is very good. And Adam's what you have to understand is that you get back to the original translation of it. And actually, you see all those, if anybody has kids, you see the CCD, if you guys remember back when you guys did religious ed, some picture Bibles and stuff, and Adam and Eve looking up at the snake, it's a little garden snake hanging out. But really, it never says snake. It says serpent. And more specifically, in the Greek translation of the Bible, it says dragon. So really, what you might be wondering is, was Adam scared? Probably. He was probably freaked out that there's a dragon. Should not be like, hey, eat this apple. And when you think about that, when you reread what the snake says to them, it doesn't seem so much like, hey, this would be really cool, you should do it. It's like, do it or I'm going to eat you. And Adam lost his faith that God would protect him. And so therefore, he didn't protect his woman. Going back to John Paul II, guys, God has assigned as a duty to every man the dignity of every woman.